Daddy, slow down so I can see the rainbows." I said to my father, "Has it stopped raining?" I thought to myself, "The worms must be frightened," I said. I have never forgotten those innocent words as the morning is closing in. So the stars must be frightened, but they all float, each in an orbit. Neither can the sun overtake the moon, nor does the night precede the day. I went for an afternoon walk that day, into the graveyard near my house where I grew up, where I used to peek through the windows of the living room as a child. For ghosts. Soon my mother would have asked what. Ghost, I'd have replied, of course. I saw a ghost. To frighten her, and frightened she would be more and more over the years. The prayers, talismans, curtains, blinds, and tears. The superstitious old generation. I was not allowed in the living room past dusk. I loved Mr. Booker, and I was not afraid. I quivered, however, in my virgin doubts. He laid under my bed each night, waiting for me to fall asleep, until I discovered one day. So I went to the graveyard. For my afternoon walk, of course, my mother not new. She last saw me in my room, reading Nostromo. I walked right in and saw his tombstone. Romeo's eyes. Romeo's eyes. I wondered. The rose petals were scattered everywhere on his grave. I arranged them to the word Juliet. Silent. His grave was always silent as glooming love is. The trees were in their spring beauty, and there hung a cage under a weeping willow, which belonged, of course, to Mr. Booker, as in it was locked a despairing bird. God have mercy on her soul. Her cage was hanging under a blossoming tree. "Dear fellow lover," I asked, "why so forlorn? With every sort of colour, the reds, whites, purples, and yellows. Choose your bliss from one. Look at that barbet, that bee." Much did I delight in my youth. He said, "But now I'm withered a tree with no branches, no lush green leaves for the slugs or pollen for the bees. No one seeks my shade. Friend, if you were the first," I said, "that had grown old and dead, then this world will truly mourn you. But the road of life is not without end. It comes and goes like a fleeting wind. To this truth death shall confirm all life must come to an end. Like any good visitor must return, as birds freed from their cages. They fly too. So the spirit of life in your breast too is penned, and just like a bird freed. No matter if his cage made of silver and gold-plated its lattices be, freedom to her is better than captivity. So death's beauty overshadows all life. God knows how long it had been since he came and sat next to me. But eventually I went home. So then the next day I went to the graveyard again, to read the tombstones, the names of the dead and the epitaphs, of course. But I saw what I had never seen. A garden was built in the midst of the graveyard, and in the middle of that garden, a pond, teal, big, tuneful swans, and blinking olive-green toads. In the pond, all on one boat, where used to be Mr. Booker's grave, and the toad looked me dead in the eyes before he started to croak. But his croak I understood. He said, "Here lays Juliet. Her beauty was only for Romeo's eyes."